Hey, madam, give you a leaflet.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
It's illegal.
Circumcision.
Yeah, it's been illegal in the UK for at least 160 years.
So why do they do it in the hospitals?
Well, they shouldn't. It is definitely it is illegal. There's no question it's illegal. Can I leave that?
It's okay.
Okay.
I did it to my boys.
Okay.
But it's not.
So can I ask what religion?
I'm Catholic.
Catholic. Well, I was probably a Catholic. Sorry?
To the core.
Right, but Catholics don't normally circumcise.
Yes, but we do for hygiene reasons because it's more prone to acquire infections.
That's just not true. It's just, there are far dirtier regions of the body than that, which soap and water sorts out.
But,
So are you from Spain or Portugal?
I'm from Mexico.
Ah, okay.
But it
I've never
doesn't
heard.
prevent them from having sexual pleasure.
It takes away 90% of the nerves which give men sexual pleasure. 90%.
Well, maybe they start using the brain for something good.
Well, I'm sorry, but you wouldn't say that about female genital mutilation, would you?
No, but
Then why say it about males?
No, it's exactly the same. I think we're born for a higher purpose than sexual pleasure.
So you're okay with female genital mutilation?
No.
Why?
Because that really hurts them.
Oh, whereas male genital mutilation doesn't hurt? Really?
I don't know.
Oh, you do know. You totally do know. You just have no sympathy for.
I didn't know it's 90% of their sexual pleasure.
Well, that's a fact. It doesn't mean that they can't have sex, but they have a much lower sex drive.
Well, the Jewish didn't practice female mutilation.
No. But some Muslims do, and some African tribes do. But
that leaves them with infections for life. I think
this is
madness is this.
This is circumcision.
Madness. God ordered circumcision for the Jewish boys. Jesus was circumcised.
Oh, but God didn't command it for anyone apart from Jews.
Anyone can do it.
I know they can do it.
The Jewish people. Yeah. They are their examples. He works through them. The glory, the covenants, the law, the promises come through the Jewish people. King Charles, Prince Charles.
Sorry.
Circumcised.
What's that got to do with anything?
Royal family.
So are you saying because it's in Genesis that we should do things?
Well, I think
please.
Either you believe in the Bible and God, or you don't.
Okay, but if you believe in Genesis, which is
I believe in the whole Bible.
Okay, well in that case you believe in adulteresses being killed. You believe in homosexuals being killed.
Listen, we all die because of sin. Every one of us comes under God's judgment.
So you would like. I'm sorry. You just said you believe in the whole of the Bible. So you would want.
They will pay their penalty. They will pay their penalty.
Do you want homosexuals killed?
No, you judge the sin, not the sinner.
No, that's not. No. Sorry.
As Jesus comes, he doesn't tell us to stone
please. A
anymore.
really simple question.
Jesus doesn't tell us to stone, but he does.
No, but your Bible does.
No, Jesus says what is right and what is wrong.
No, sorry,
Jesus was circumcised. That's something that
he's Jewish. Because he's Jewish, that's the only reason.
There is right and there is wrong.
But you just said you believe in the Bible. You just said it was in the. You don't believe the Bible. Because
God tells us not now to stone, but we stone them to silence in that respect. God will deal with them if they continue that act that is false.
You are certifiably mad, in my view.
Well, you can call me what you like, but I'm a Bible believer.
Well, you don't believe the Bible because you just said you don't believe in stoning adulteresses to death or killing homosexuals, and the Bible tells you to do that.
The Bible then when Jesus came, he didn't keep all of it going, but he kept circumcision going.
Some bits of the Bible then.
He kept, listen, stoning was part of the culture in those days. Nowadays we've prisons, we had gallows, we had the death thing. It's a circumcision has never been stopped. That is not in any way. That is not in any way dangerous to the baby.
Of course it is.
No, it stops
200 babies in America die every year because of it.
What babies? Jewish babies?
Jewish, not just Jewish, because most American men are circumcised.
Why are they circumcised? Who orders it?
Orders it? It's a big. It's not for the baby who's killed.
No, but who's telling these these parents, they've got to do it.
People like you, people
No,
who
I
believe in the
don't tell
Bible.
them. I've never heard of Jewish babies being killed.
Oh, what's that going to be on Jewish Babies Death
No.
Monthly?
Surely the choice is made by their parents what to do.
Well, how about if?
It is sad
well,
for the baby.
well, how
It dies.
about if the parents decide on female genital mutilation? Are you okay with that?
Never in the Bible is that taught.
I'm not talking about the Bible. You're just saying if the parents want it.
No, it's wrong, but that's not the same as male circumcision.
Of course it's not, but both of them should be stopped.
There's nothing wrong with male circumcision.
Oh, you're
it's
talking.
beneficial to the health.
Oh, you're talking through your hat.
Prostrate is beneficial.
It's
Female
not.
genital
It's
not
not.
beneficial.
I've never met a more ignorant person talking
Well,
about circumcision
call
than
it
you.
Like. All the Jews I know and the royal family are quite happy with it.
You're an idiot.
Of course.
Hello, sir.
No, that's
Hello, sir. Leaflet.
For what?
I lead the Men's Rights Party, Justice for Men and Boys, and we're campaigning for an end to circumcision, which is illegal in the UK. It's illegal. Circumcision.
It's legal.
It's illegal.
Is it legal in the UK?
It's been illegal since 1861.
So what about it?
Sorry?
Why you don't like it?
No, we want to end it.
No, but I believe in circumcision.
I know you do, but
Yeah, I'm an Israelite.
that's why I want to give you this.
To end it.
Well, this website is a Muslim website written by Muslims. This here, and it's a Muslim case against circumcision.
How? How
Sorry.
do they circumcise?
I'm sorry.
How do they circumcise the boy?
How do they circumcise him?
Yeah, how?
Well, there's a number of different ways. Why? I don't understand the question.
I've been hearing.
Do you mean why?
I've been hearing different things, so I want to know from you. How do they circumcise?
Well, so there's a number.
If you know what they do,
I know what they do,
I want to answer from
and
you.
I think it's something. It is a human rights violation, and it's illegal. It's been illegal for at least 160 years in the UK.
Yeah, because the UK government, they want to destroy the children of Israel, the true Israelite, for them not to circumcise, because the creator will make everything come on children of Israel to be circumcised, and a child that born on the 8th day must be circumcised on the 8th day. It's a law from the creator, so I cannot go against what the creator already established. You understand? The creator established circumcision for his people. So I believe in circumcision. I don't believe in wicked circumcision. I believe what the creator established. So I can't go against I cannot demonstrate against circumcision.
I'm sorry.
What do you think is circumcision is something wrong?
Yeah, and it's a human rights violation,
But
and it's illegal in the UK. It's been illegal since 1861.
I mean, in which sense do you not accept it?
Sorry, when?
In which sense do you not accept it? Like as
It's a violation. It's in what sense? It's an assault on the body of a child.
So you have like mercy more than a parent who have like more affection to their child.
But this child, whether the parents are Muslim or Jewish,
Yeah.
may decide not to remain Jewish or Muslim. But then he has a mutilated part of his body, which makes no sense.
Do you believe at the science?
Do I believe?
You believe at science.
Yes.
So, what about if in the science they find out that the circumcision is very good, basically for the child? Okay, I know. I mean,
No. The reason I'll tell you why I'm smiling,
Yeah.
because when I speak to Jews and Muslims, I get two different things.
Yeah.
Muslims always talk about hygiene,
Okay.
and Jews always talk about the covenant with God.
Okay.
But there's not one argument, not one medical argument for circumcision
Yeah.
that makes any sense.
Okay, I used to live in Germany,
Yeah.
and I know a lot of German. Recently, so for about now 5-6 years, they start to do circumcision.
Ah, yes. I know German. I know about Germany.
Okay, so I mean, to be honest, it's not a matter of take it as a belief, yeah, because we are told from our Lord that is good for us.
Understand?
The ones who create us, He knows better what is suit us.
So
This is what we believe.
I know. I understand that.
Okay. This is second thing is for the hygiene matter. It's very good for child, and the child doesn't take it like when you take injection. You see when you give an injection for the.
I'm sorry, but
Do you take it as a child abuse?
no, because there's a benefit.
So why don't you take this as a benefit?
Because except through a religious lens, it is not a benefit. There are plenty of things in the, of course, this is not in the Quran, circumcision, but there are plenty of things in the Quran which Muslims are commanded to do, which in this country you cannot do. And do you accept that? Why can you not accept the law of the land when it comes to this?
Okay, why don't you accept what I mean? The moral things, moral things is like, for example, if a child, when he grow up in a certain environment, like for example, in Africa, they have different law, isn't it?
Okay, but can we go to the point?
Is it really against the law?
It's the 1861 Offences Against a Person Act, this is actual or grievous bodily harm, and therefore it's illegal. It would require a parliamentary override to be legal, and that has never existed.
Yeah, but I heard like they even do it here in St. Mary's.
I know. I know. The problem is that the police and the Crown Prosecution Service will not bring prosecutions. But there are 3 cases in the pipeline, and 1 or 2 of which will come into the courts in the coming few months. And the government does not deny it's illegal, but they will not bring prosecutions. I think that's going to change. That's going to start changing this coming year.
So if it's illegal,
yeah.
It's illegal, you say,
yes.
but there's no prosecution, yes?
Yeah.
So why do they do it in hospitals now? How come it's illegal?
Well, they shouldn't. I mean, they're still crimes. These are all crimes, unless it's for a medical reason. But I'm talking about cultural reasons or religious reasons.
Well, what are you against?
So you're against it?
What are you against?
Are you against the act as in like bodily harm? Because you
yes.
have benefits behind it, yeah?
Yeah. No, Muslims always tell me this. It's interesting. Jews always talk about the religious side,
no,
and Muslims always talk about hygiene.
No, the thing is because you're not Muslim, I cannot speak to you about religious side.
No.
Yeah, so
But the hygiene side, we have on our website. I mean, I
didn't take
yes. Well, on our website, we have a huge amount about the health side and the hygiene side. And there is not one argument on the health side or hygiene side which bears examination.
Okay.
But you'll have to go to our website to find that.
Yeah, I have the thing.
So for example, people will say to me, well, you'll have fewer, you won't have sexually transmitted diseases.
Yes.
And I think, well, Muslims hopefully don't, you would expect not to suffer too much. But then you say, well, hang on, the United States has a high level of circumcision, not for religious reasons, cultural, and they have a high rate of AIDS.
The high rate of AIDS is because of the influx of immigrants into that country. That's why.
Yeah,
it's not because of that. It's because of the influx of the immigrants.
But circumcision does not protect against diseases. It absolutely does not protect.
No, it will reduce the cases of.
No, it won't. That's the point I'm making. But you'll have to go on our website if you want to.
The point is, you are saying that the circumcision rates are high in America.
Yes.
And the AIDS and sexual transmitted diseases are high in America, but these are not linked.
Okay, no.
The reason why it's high in America, AIDS and other sexual transmitted diseases, is because of the influx of immigrants. That's it. Because you have a lot of people coming from Africa, a lot of people coming from the West Indies with high rates of AIDS coming over there. That's why you have all of these, and you have high rates of prostitution in America also.
Okay, but all I'm saying is it's not a defence. Circumcision is not a health defence against those things.
I've not read anything about it in terms of health. I personally do it.
We have a huge amount on our website.
Did you search about it, or you just
yes.
I guess
on our website we must have just a mountain of information about it.
I just gave you one example of like injection for the child, because he benefits from.
Yes,
that,
but
I don't personally.
No, but the benefit that you see to it.
Yeah.
I don't see, obviously, but so that is looking through a religious lens. But this country is a fairly secular country today compared to what it was a generation or two ago.
Can I ask you something totally different to that? What about the injections he was speaking about? I
said there's a health benefit, but the benefit that you see.
No, I'm not speaking about this. I'm speaking about the injections. Are you with or against it? What do they call them? They call them
vaccine.
The jabs.
Yes,
vaccines,
of course I'm for them.
You're for them,
because they.
But isn't this bodily harm?
It is. It's a small bodily harm for a big health benefit. This is big bodily harm.
Do you know that?
For well, I know you don't see it as that, but circumcision takes away 90% of the nerve cells in the penis, which give men pleasure during sex. So it doesn't mean that you can't have sex. It just means that you get a lot less pleasure. And we know it's been known for hundreds of years that men who've been circumcised have less pleasure. Of course they do.
How can you explain all these people among the Muslims who have so much? I mean, they have more kids than in
I'm not saying you can't have kids. Clearly you can.
And they have more.
I personally, one second.
But that's a cultural thing. That's a cultural thing. That's not because Muslim men enjoy sex more than non-Muslim men.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying nothing is. It didn't change them. It didn't change them.
No, it means that if we have video on our website of men who are circumcised as adults, normally for health reasons, and they know that they get far less pleasure from sex after circumcision than before, a lot less.
This is because they've done it at a late age, not because of that. They've done it at a late age.
No. All that means then is that they know the difference. If you haven't done it at a young age, then you don't know what you've lost.
No, but the thing is, if you've done it at a young age, what happens is you're still in a development phase. So the nerve system is not fully developed back then. So
I'm sorry. Biologically, 90% of the nerve cells when you're born in the penis are in the foreskin. When you're born.
Okay. I don't know that. This is why I'm asking you. I've never had an argument in that case. I only do it. I do it personally for religious reasons. That's
sure.
Why
I understand that.
But let's say for other the vaccines. I've not vaccinated my child, and he's like 16 years old.
Okay.
And the reason is because even though vaccines, it's well known and everyone's doing it and everything, but there's there's a lot of research done into it, and they've said that it's basically a scam, and basically big medical centers are trying to push in the vaccines so that they can get money. So in that, I don't believe there's health benefits to you vaccinating.
Right.
Okay? Although I would fear because of the public approach to it, but in that sense, I've not done any research. I've done it solely just for religious reasons.
Okay. Yeah, but you won't get the opposing evidence without coming to people like us, because
I would actually definitely go and.
Okay. Well, if you go on this, this is not our website here.
Yeah.
That's a Muslim website.
Okay.
And so it's written by Muslims for Muslims. So hopefully that will help.
All right.
Okay.
Nice meeting you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Or even a teenager who can make a rational decision.
No, it still wouldn't be legal. No, you're quite right. Yes.
May I ask a question?
Of course.
What's the law about the Protection of the Persons Act in 18?
Okay, Offences Against the Person Act, 1861. Circumcision, in fact, female and male circumcision, actually, would both be construed as at least actual bodily harm and probably grievous bodily harm. It would require a parliamentary override to be legal, and that has never existed.
Then why is nobody prosecuted?
Because there isn't the will in the criminal justice system among the police and the CPS to bring prosecutions.
So then does that not by de facto make it legal then? If
it doesn't.
If we're not legal, but if we're not enforcing a law, there's a law that says you can shoot a Scotsman with a bow and arrow in York. Nobody would do it, I hope.
No, I'm sorry, no.
But it's not.
Put it this way: if female genital mutilation were being carried out on the same grounds, well, the state is all over FGM.
Yeah, because the mood of society would demand some change, but the mood of society is not really demanding change.
No, you're quite right. But that's a sort of indicator of it. That here's an 8-day-old baby boy having his genitals mutilated in the name of religion and culture, and nothing's happening. So we're the only men's rights party in the world, the English-speaking world, and it's our #1 campaign, and it has been for over 2 years. But there are 3 legal cases going through about this. I'm behind 2 of them, And there's a case in Nottingham where a boy was circumcised without his mother's consent. And
yeah, there still needs to be parental consent to do this.
No, that's the point. It doesn't make it legal because it is intrinsically illegal. And in fact, when parents give approval for it, they are conspirators to the crime. The law is absolutely black and white on this. All that's lacking is.
Why is nobody enforcing it then?
Well, because they don't want to offend the Jewish and Muslim communities. Simple as that. And as you said, there's very little societal demand for it to care.
But
because
when was it?
1861.
Right. So even before there was a big Jewish and Muslim community, I mean, have they ever enforced this?
No.
So then it can't be about the fear of the Jewish and the Muslim community.
No. Sorry. No. Okay. No. There's a nuance there. There's nothing in the 1861 Act that talks about circumcision.
Right.
But circumcision is by definition at least ABH and probably GBH. So you don't actually need a specific anti-male circumcision law. There is a specific anti-female circumcision, but there didn't need to be. That was always illegal.
But are there cases laws set on precedent? So is there cases where prosecutions happened and the judges?
Well, no, that's kind of the problem. There needs to be a first case.
But if you're saying it is GBH and everything else, unless it's gone through the court and that's the finding of it, you can't say that's what it is.
Well, that's what 3 cases are about.
Right, okay.
And I'm expected to be in the High Court in the coming months.
All right.
Because I protested in Parliament Square and stopped the traffic and blah blah blah, and my defence was I was protesting against the CPS and police not bringing prosecutions, and so far it's gone to a magistrates' court and a High Court, and the judges have not engaged with the issue of legality. But in the High Court, 3 judges will look at it, and I'm hoping for the first time will do so.
So is the case against for you personally, or is it generally?
No, it's against me personally. That one.
No, I mean in terms of what you're saying about circumcision, because again, if you're saying this has been enforced on other people, is it not difficult for you to therefore represent people? If it's not you saying I want to sue somebody for what they have done to me, but you're doing it on behalf of other people, then
no, you're missing the point. The point is that I want the High Court to say male circumcision is illegal. I want them to actually say what everyone knows to be a fact. I mean,
all surgery without a rational therapeutic is illegal. All doctors are criminals when it comes to surgery.
This is the best informed man on MGM I've ever met at Speaker's Corner.
If it's not therapeutic. Now, the reason the Jews and the Muslims argue that it's psychologically therapeutic for children to be part of the community. And to be part of the community, they have to be observe the rituals of that community.
And what if they don't want to be part of the community? It's like,
you could therefore sue people for baptising you as a child.
No, because where's the bodily harm? No, there's no bodily harm.
Okay.
That's the only reason why the government
so it's purely about
that parents will take the child abroad.
And psychological, a lot of psychological damage. You'd be surprised at how much.
The Jews said if you ban,
because at the end of the day, people feel violated. And people are ashamed. No, they do. I agree. And some people feel proud of it. Jews and Muslims here differ very much here. Jews will always talk about the covenant with God. But they sort of, you say, well, exactly the same holy book demands that you stone you kill homosexuals, you stone adulteresses to death, you kill children who disobey their parents. But as Jews, you don't. Why is it that these 15 things, we've kind of moved on, and this one we haven't? And it's because it's males, and there's an empathy gap. You were talking about FGM versus MGM. Why do people care about FGM and not MGM? It's because of the empathy gap. But Muslims always talk about hygiene every time. Yeah, very seldom about religion. It's not in the Quran, but it is a strong cultural tradition.
Circumcision's not international.
No, but there's a lot of stuff that Muslims do that's not in the Quran. You know. Exactly so, and of course they have that Sunni-Shia divide, which is around all that kind of stuff. But no, I'm hoping also to bring out a private prosecution against a guy called Dr. Joseph Spitzer, who's a Jewish circumciser in Stamford Hill, who's carried out thousands of circumcisions, and I want to see that guy in court. But why?
I mean, what's the what do you why just why?
Well, because he's a criminal. He's got away with thousands of crimes. Some of these guys earn millions over their careers, so that's another sort of issue altogether. But at the end of the day, you know, this is not going to stop until people sort of know that they're likely to go to prison for it. And you know, long prison. You know, this is GBH on babies, for God's sake.
If they turn around and said, "You're absolutely right. The interpretation of the law is this is under that law, this is wrong." They would just change the law.
I don't think they would.
I
No.
don't think they would turn around and say we're going to now start enforcing it. I think the political backlash would be.
Well, no. I think there'll be. You know, 9 out of 10 people do not know it's illegal, and I think it's unquestionably illegal. I mean, I've sent freedom of information requests to the Home Secretary and all sorts of people, the CPS. Not once out of maybe a dozen FOIs has the contention that MGM is illegal been challenged. Not once. So they know it's illegal. There's no question about that at all.
There has to be a ruling to say.
No, there has to be a first case. There has to be a. So this is why I'm trying to get the first case with Spitzer. So I want somebody in that community to say that Joseph Spitzer circumcised this boy. It could be even, you know, roughly that time and place. That's what I'm trying to go for.
You can't really say it's illegal. It's just your interpretation.
No, seriously, it's not mine. No. There's a human rights barrister. I can't give his name. Who gave a talk in Kiel 4 or 5 years ago. And he was perfectly clear. He said there's no doubt whatsoever it's illegal. The state knows it, the criminal justice system does. But people think because the police don't prosecute, therefore it's de facto illegal. But it would require a parliamentary override to be legal. That has never existed.
But if there's no cases to say it actually is illegal.
No, but why is there no? But there's no case because
nobody's brought it.
Because so it's a vicious circle.
Exactly. But until they go right back to say it's illegal, you can say my interpretation of it is I believe it to be illegal.
No, that's not how the law works. The law works that things can be illegal but not pursued. So I'll give you another example. Paternity fraud. Where there's a number of forms of paternity fraud, but one is where a woman leads a man to think a child is his, and so he supports it and so on, you know, perhaps for 20 years, and then maybe something happens that, I mean, maybe a blood test, you know, could be one of a dozen things. So he then finds out that little Johnny, or Big Johnny now, is not his, and that is fraud under the fraud. I think it's the 2006 Fraud Act. The Crown has never once brought a prosecution for it, and just extending that, I don't know if it's a CSA still, but every year hundreds of men, the CSA comes to men and say, "You're the father of this child," and they'll say, "I don't believe I am. I demand a DNA test," which they have to pay for, and where it's proved that they're not the father of that child. Basically, the state then knows that this woman at this address has committed fraud. Hundreds of cases a year, not one has ever been prosecuted. So no one's saying that that's not illegal. Everyone knows it's illegal. But
then somebody needs to.
No. So a number of men have brought cases.
Is that what your group represents? Is support of these new cases to try and raise awareness?
We're say a men's rights party. This is one of 20 areas where we campaign. It's just the number one area where we campaign because it's the suffering. When you actually look into male circumcision and the suffering, it causes far more. All MGM is far more injurious than almost all FGM. Fact, absolute fact.
But then why? I mean, I know I've got a Jewish friend.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, why would they therefore inflict it on their own sons?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. You ask. No, well. There's a guy called Moses Maimonides, 12th century rabbi, very, very senior figure, and he made it very clear in his book that the entire purpose was to not to deaden, but to reduce sexual pleasure for men. 90% of the nerve cells in the penis, which give men pleasure in sex, are in the foreskin. So by removing that, you greatly reduce men's libido, their ability to have sex. And the whole point was to make Jewish men more faithful to their wives. And he was very clear about that.
Yeah, but that's his interpretation in the Middle Ages. I mean, that's not why.
No, but well, who knows? It goes back thousands of years.
I mean,
so people don't know. But the point is, since at least the 12th century, it's been known that it greatly reduces men's pleasure, and it continued from there.
But that wasn't the reason. The Jews didn't start circumcising in the 12th century.
No, I agree. It goes back at least to 3,000 years to.
And it's about part of being part of that tribe. It's the same as Hawker law. I mean, it's just about this cultural.
No, I agree. But you know, most Jews don't know that 90% of, you know, the extent to which their pleasure during sex has been reduced. They're completely unaware of it. And it's actually psychologically healthy if you're a Jew to be proud of it and so on and pass it on to your son. I get that, and it's part of the problem around it, of course.
I mean, I've got a good friend of mine. He's Jewish. I mean, he's an atheist, and
right.
You know, so from a religious point of view, he's just saying it's a load of nonsense. And yet, it's when his son was born, one of the first things he did was he went and did it.
It's a big cultural thing, yeah.
Yes, exactly. And he said, well, it's like baptizing your baby. It's what you do.
But was he aware of the physical, you know, side of it?
Well, I don't. The way when his wife goes away from him, his libido's not reduced. He's a bloody nightmare. He's a sex pest when we go out. So I don't think it's. I know what you mean in terms of sensitivity, but I mean, it certainly hasn't.
Yeah.
He's just an old bloke. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know.
But just going back to the case in Nottingham, that's probably the most important one, because there's a renowned human rights barrister, a woman, who's pursuing that, and I think she might even be Muslim. She's certainly by her name you think it will, but she's really behind it. So the CPS have dropped the case, refused to prosecute, and so the last thing was she sent them a 24-page argument, just destroying their decision not to pursue it. So we should know soon quite what comes of that.
I just have to push it through the courts if that's the case. But I think all you'll do is you might get to a point where there'll be a ruling, and then they'll just change the law. That's something we've thought about, and it's actually funny enough, not funny, so nothing funny around this area, but it's what happened in Germany. They had the same situation, and then and they basically sort of made it legal. But I spoke to a lot of people on this, and including some MPs, and their view is that if it becomes known to the general public that this thing has been illegal for a century and a half, and Parliament wants to bring in something to make it legal, they believe there will be such a shitstorm over that it wouldn't happen. But is that what you really want to happen? I mean,
I want to be made illegal and stopped in the UK.
You want to stop it?
Yeah.
I would be surprised if, even if that's what you want, I'd be surprised if the mood of the country would get behind making it legal. I'd just be surprised.
No. It doesn't need the mood of the country. What it needs is the criminal justice system to do what it's bloody well charged to do, to enforce the law.
Yeah, but the MPs were just represented there. I mean, it would just be debated in Parliament.
I mean, the worst case scenario is that happens. Yeah. But our view is that there's going to be no more. I mean, there's going to be no more circumcisions if it's legal than there is today.
But it's like, I mean, in Denmark, you know, they made kosher and halal slaughter illegal, but I think they import it now from Sweden. It doesn't change. All that'll happen is the boys will be taken to Israel and it'll be done there.
Well, if you take FGM as an example, for a time, and I think it was mainly Muslims, but not only Muslims, because they would take their daughters to Somalia or I haven't done that. Then there was an addendum or whatever you call it to the Act, which makes that illegal as well.
Yes.
So basically, what we're calling for is I think it's the 1985 Female Circumcision Act, to be applied to males, to have gender equality.
But if you do this, it's just going to be interpreted as being anti-Semitic, anti-Islamic.
Well, so be it. I mean, and that's a battle we have to fight. Because at the end of the day, are we saying this is right? Really? In 2017, we're allowing people to cut the ends of penises off babies in the name of religion. No, this is increasingly secular country. No, in the case of Judaism, it's certainly in the case of the name of religion.
For some people, not most of the Jews I know. It's not religious.
No, not practicing. No, I get that. But no, Muslim more cultural. But then you could say that slavery at one time. You know, I mean, this is a human rights issue. apart from anything else, it also contravenes UN and EU human rights conventions.
So how
I mean, who else is?
Female mutilation stop? I mean, how did that? You know, what was the journey for making that illegal? Like, whatever that is, surely that's what you need to copy.
Well, that's a very good question. Back in the FGM Act is 1985, I think. So back in the late 70s, Tony Blair, who appointed Harriet fucking Harman, the first Minister for Women, all this kind of stuff. Very, very feminist government. And they knew that we have on record that the Attorney General at the time said that there was no need for an FGM Act because it was illegal under the 1861 Act, which kind of begs the point, well, where are the prosecutions then? But never mind. So they went ahead with that because feminists pressed for it. And whatever battle feminists fight, they win. And there's no male equivalent to feminism.
What's the crux of your argument, though? Is it about male rights versus feminism? I mean,
not in that area particularly. I think there is an element that males should enjoy the same rights as females. And in 20 areas we have in our manifesto, there are 20 areas where the human rights of men and boys are assaulted by the state through its actions or inactions in the case of MGM. There's not one area I'm aware of in Britain today where the human rights of women and girls specifically is assaulted by the state. Not one. And yet men and boys are blind to it. Absolutely, not so much. But, men are pretty well blind to it and one of the reasons is that the mainstream media.
I feel like it's a big deal. That's why. I mean, it's not blind. It's just indifferent.
Well, tell that to the father who doesn't get to see his children. Why are virtually all the people who don't see their kids fathers? No, sorry. Happy to talk about any areas.
But I mean, specifically on circumcision, I think people are it's just blasé. It's not. They're not thinking about it one way or the other. I mean, my brother's circumcised. We tell him he's the Jew, but that's about the extent of it.
Hello, madam. Anyway. Leaflet. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Anyway, good luck with it.
Thank you very much. No, enjoy the chat.
Yeah.
But
I understand it all.
Okay. All right.